What is up, you guys? This is me, Flight Simulator X Hobbyist. It is May 28th, 2018. Time is 12:55 p.m. So I'm going to be doing a gameplay and review video of Alphasim Virtavia's SH-2G Super Seasprite for Microsoft Flight Simulator X Acceleration Edition or Golden Edition. So we are here at Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Willow Grove, and I will be flying a SH-2G from Helicopter Squadron Light 94. So I'm going to read from Global Security a little information about this squadron. So it says, Helicopter Anti-Submarine Squadron Light 94, formerly in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, has the mission to provide ready detachments for deployments aboard fleet frigates. These detachments provide anti-submarine warfare, anti-ship surveillance and targeting, and general utility support to air-capable ships. They localize, track, and attack submarine forces, coordinate and control the operations of the task organization or functional force to carry out assigned missions, conduct electronic warfare support operations, engage surface targets during battle group operations in coordination with other forces, and conduct search and rescue operations in a non-combat environment. The two HSL squadrons, there was one at Willow Grove, which is HSL 94, and there was one at San Diego at North Island, which was HSL 84 Thunderbolts. They also flew the SH-2Gs. Now, this on Global Force isn't entirely accurate. If I remember right, it was during February 2001 is when and I apologize if I get this wrong, but if I remember right, HSL 84 was retired in February of 2001, and HSL 94, they ferried their last SH-2G to AMARC Davis Monthan, Arizona in December of 2000, and then the squadron officially stood down in March of 2001. And I also got that information too from helis.com for HSL 94. So yeah. So HSL 94, from what it sounds like to me, was a Fleet Readiness Squadron, or commonly known as FRS. So that means if you're part of a SH-2G detachment before, and this is even your first time, this even occurs also if this is your first time with whatever SH-2G squadron you will be with. Before anybody gets deployed, no matter if it's their first time, second time, third time, no matter how many times they've been deployed, they go to what's called a FRS, or a Fleet Readiness Squadron. And what they do is they prepare and they make sure that everybody performs their role properly. So then when they go out on deployment, they get the job done right. And that is what the job of HSL 94 was. These guys also had a mix of active duty and selected reservists. So that means if you're a reservist who's doing and this is what I think of a selected reservist. A selected reservist is somebody who really does good with their job and is the best at it. So after when they get selected, they will get transferred to a FRS to basically become a FRS instructor. Now, this is only for rotary winged aircrafts. I think even for rotary winged aircrafts, they also go to Top Gun. I don't know. And I apologize if I don't know that. That's not really in my field of interest, unfortunately. But anyway, so now, talking about this model. This model of the Seasprite is a little accurate, But the difference is that the US models, from what I know of, did not have this antenna here, nor even on the top right there too. And it didn't have these boxes on both sides. So that's the only downside to this helicopter. And also, there should be sonar buoy tubes right here. So anyway, now I'll go a little more into detail about some of the roles. So, search and rescue, which is not, believe it or not, the first priority according to their final command video. This is a foldable winch right here that folds out. So when they're rescuing somebody, they can fold that out and, hoist somebody up into the helicopter. Now, their first mission and priority is anti-submarine warfare. And what they use, there's two methods that a LAMPS Mark I helicopter, a P-3 Orion, and a P-8 Poseidon use. And that first method is MAD, or Magnetic Anomaly Detector. So on a helicopter, this right here is called the MAD bird. And what it is it's a missile-like object that gets towed behind the helicopter when flying forward. So they will fly forward and they will lower this down to a certain height, and this will pick up any magnetic anomalies in the ocean, down below the ocean surface. So that's one way you can detect a submarine. Another way, and like what I said, really isn't depicted on here, and that would be right here, is your sonar buoys. And your sonar buoys you can use to listen to try to find a sub. So you can listen to see if you recognize the sound of the sub's engine or prop. Or you can use a sonar buoy to detect the sonar ping of a sub. And the sonar buoy gets dropped into the water. And there's two types. There's passive and non-passive. So, which I apologize, but I don't quite remember the details about those. It's that I know there's only passive and non-passive, if I remember right. So yeah. And then next is for surface warfare, you use this radar right down below here to pick up any adversary radar signals, and that radar I think will even tell you like what it is and where it's coming from, so then you can track and in time of war destroy any enemy surface vessels like ships. So now the cockpit here is pretty detailed. I like it a whole lot. In fact, this reminds me of the Titan and Thunderbolt SH-2G simulator that is at the Air Museum that I volunteer at. Well, it's not on display. It is currently, as of this video, in restoration. But sooner or later, they will put it back out on display. Some of these switches do function, some don't, And yeah. I will also... Oh, so one other thing about the Seasprite is that there's these little flaps on the end of the blades. And that is to prevent excessive vibration. So it will make the airframe of the helicopter last a lot longer, and it will also prevent any pilot fatigue. Now, depending on the mission, there will be, at least you have for crew members, typically 3. You have your pilot who sits on the right, which that is a naval aviator who sits on the right here. His job is to fly the helicopter. And then on the left, you have your naval flight officer, or NFO. Depending on what type of aircraft the NFO would fly on, depends on whether or not that person is a co-pilot or not. So for the Seasprite, the NFO can be a co-pilot, but his main job is to operate any of the GPS and radios on the helicopter. The third person, and this is for a typical flight, is another NFO, and he's the crew chief. So he operates the winch, and he also operates the equipment back here for basically for the 3 roles of this helicopter, which I just explained earlier. In the time of a search and rescue mission, and wow, it's not even really depicted in here too. There is a second seat in here for the rescue swimmer. But yeah, it looks like it's not really... Yeah, there's no second seat. Typically on a Seasprite, there's a second seat for the rescue swimmer. So, alright. I'm going to take off from Willow Grove here. We're not going to use air traffic control like in my previous videos because the taxi speed on this helicopter is slow and I don't want to chew up time taxiing. So, alright, here we go. We're going to take off and land right where we're at. And I also apologize if I'm rushing this. I actually am going to taxi out a little bit. So then I won't be damaging the hangar door right here, and also it is open a little bit. So yeah, don't want to damage anything. Alright, so I am going to turn right here. Well, yeah, and I'm going to turn a little bit, so then we're facing, let's see, got it right there. Alright, so here we go. I also apologize if I'm a little rusty on takeoffs and landings. It's been quite some time since I've flown this helicopter. Now, I am gonna say this is not a helicopter for beginners at all. This is control sensitive, and what I mean by that is that I highly recommend that. Yeah, which means that the slightest movement of the control surfaces will move this helicopter a whole lot. Oh, and if you guys want more information on HSL 94, I will post their final command video. Well, not post it. I'll put the link in the description below to their final command video, and also to some other websites that might have more information about this squadron. Now, November Whiskey 20, from what I remember right, was one of the last Seasprites that flew. That flew to the Boneyard or to Davis Monument during their establishment. Oh, by the way, I just realized this. There. Oh wait, no, I am actually correct about their establishment. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just gonna do a loop. I'm not gonna fly for too long. But yeah. So I'm gonna loop back around and then we're gonna land. But this helicopter is pretty maneuverable. Oh, and I will show the hoist. The hoist here does fold out. Oh, and the texture for this helicopter is not a default texture. So this texture does not come with the Seasprite. This texture, I contacted Groom Lake Simulation to make, even though you wait for a long time, it's definitely worth the wait. He does not know when he is going to post this texture on his website. So maybe like towards the end of every month, check on his website and see if he posted the downloadable link to download this texture. Alright, so I'm gonna turn back around again and then we're gonna land at Willow Grove. You also can sit in the left seat, but because of time and all that, I'm not gonna, do that. And I don't want to mess myself up. But yeah, there is a left seat view for this 3D cockpit. And HSL-94 was established at Willow Grove during 1985. So they were stationed at Willow Grove for its whole career, or for its whole service life. Alright, so I'm gonna put my landing gear down. Another thing is the pilots open up their door to have a better field of view, which I will say when I tried that out one time, even for landing on one of my AI carrier destroyers and cruisers, it definitely helped. Alright, so I'm going to slow down a bit. Because you don't want to go too fast. That's the last thing you want to do, in my opinion. little bit of a hard landing, but like what I said before, it's been a little bit of time since I've flown the Seasprite. So, alright, I hope this video helped with your decision on whether or not you would want to purchase the Alphasim Virtavia Seasprite. If you are a service member, thank you for your service, and also both active duty or veteran. And yeah, whoops, sorry, I bumped the table. Oh, and there's the air traffic control tower of Willow Grove, which I did ask somebody on Sim Outhouse to make this texture for this scenery for Willow Grove. I am gonna contact him again and see if he is okay with me posting it on Sim Outhouse so that other people can download it. But yeah, alright, have a nice day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.